Greetings everyone, Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is on this Vox Telstar 4-piece drum kit with hardware. Let's go. Vox Telstar. Vox Telstar. A groovy looking kit with a cracking sound. You take these drumstick gigs, you'll be the hippest player in town. Vox Telstar. Vox Telstar. Telstar. Yes, this is an unusual looking drum kit, but it's very cool and it has a long history. The original Trixon Speedfire drum kit came out way back in 1955. And what made the drum kit, especially the kick drum, unique, aside from the look, was that it was actually chambered. There was a chamber about 3/4 of the way, like from my right to the left, right about here, they chambered up the kick drum, which basically made it into 2 kick drums. And with the flat part of the hoop, meant that you could actually attach 2 different kick drum pedals and have 2 sounds. So you'd have like a small kick drum sound on the smaller part of the kick drum and then a bigger, fuller sound on the bigger part. Well, they took that chambered thing out. Now it's just a wide open sound. You could still move the kick drum pedal back and forth to either side if you want a smaller sound or a bigger sound. There's some nice dampening features on the inside of this kick drum. It's definitely updated to this day and age. It's really cool, so let's get into even more details right now. Vox partnered up with Sakae Osaka Heritage to make this updated Telstar drum kit. Some very unique sizes. We'll get to the kick drum in a second, but starting with the rack tom, it is 7.5 by 13. Unusual there. The floor tom is 15.5 by 16. You get a 5 by 14 matching snare drum. Now for the kick drum, they have it described as 12 by 13 plus 18. I'm not really sure what that means because it just looks oblong. And that's what it is. The kick drum is made out of birch, and the toms and snare drum are made out of alder wood. With that being said, let me play these drums without any music. It's got a very cool woody sound. Now, alder in drums, I'm not that familiar with, but it's got a really cool, nice, round, warm tone. Let's get into the snare drum real quick before we get to the kick drum. First, the snare wires are gonna be off. Here we go. Wow, that snare is pretty cracking sounding, and I have it tuned right in the middle. Not too high, not too low. The snare wires are kind of loose, but you can tighten them up. Let's do that for you real quick. Got them cranked pretty tight now. Here's the sound of the snare drum. Really nice, big, round, and resonant. And the snare couples with the toms in a really cool way. Let's do that. Before I play the kick drum, I want to point out a couple of quick things, and we'll talk about the hardware in a second as well. There's 2 dampeners on this kick drum. On the resonant side, on the right, or my right side of the kick drum, there is a knob right over there, and there's a felt strip that goes right along the whole front head. That knob will either tighten the felt strip onto the head or take it, loosen it or tighten it onto the head, giving you some dampening there. There's also an old school dampener on the front, a regular old circle one, that will obviously push onto the front head, the resonant head, or take it off. And you adjust the sound that way. I have the dampening on a little bit on both the front and the back, the resonant and the batter head, and it still has a nice big boomy sound. Here we go. Snare wires are off, by the way. It definitely has a wide open sound, but you can take some of that resonance away by taking off the head and putting in some more dampening like you would do on a typical kick drum. Let me put the snare wires on and do the same thing again. Cool. Let's put it all together now. Here we go. Actually a really cool sound, and you might be asking, what kind of music would I use this kit for? Only surf music like the opening song I did? No, I think you can use this with all kinds of stuff. It depends on how you tune the drums. If you change out the heads, although you can only use this kick drum head by Remo for this kick drum because of its unique shape. But of course you can change the toms and the snare drum heads and get a completely different sound if you want. And again, if you put more dampening in the kick drum, maybe put a hole in the front head, you can adjust the sound that way as well. All right, let me talk about the hardware now. In keeping with the vintage vibe of this kit, Vox gives you flat bass hardware with the hi-hat stand and the snare stand. The rack tom and the cymbal arm come right off the kick drum, and everything in a couple of boxes. You're ready to go. This thing will pack up in 5 minutes, and you can take it to the next gig, put it up in your house, use it anywhere really easily. If you want to expand the hardware with this kit, there's lots of good flat-based hardware options that Sweetwater sells, from Ludwig, DW, Tama, and others, so you can easily expand the hardware on this kit. Next thing to mention on this kit is the finish. The wrap is really cool. It is the silver croco finish, they're calling it, because it looks sort of crocodile-esque if crocodiles were silver. And it feels like it's a fabric. It doesn't feel like a typical wrap. You also get the old school Vox ampliphonic badge, and the whole thing just oozes vintage vibe and feel. There you have it, everybody, the Vox Telstar 4-piece drum kit. Everything is included: kick drum pedal, hi-hat stand, all the drums, this killer oblong, just totally unique kick drum, great sounding drum kit, lots of fun to play, and if you're into vintage drums, the vintage look, the vintage vibe and feel, this is the drum kit to check out for sure. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you want any more information about this kit, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm gonna play some more drums. Here we go. Woo! Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click right here for more videos just like this one, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.